So today we're coming to you from Jacksonville Beach. This is right here in our hometown. Adam and I actually got married a couple blocks down on the ocean.
So today's video, we're actually talking about how to find the best title company for your wholesale deals. If you are new to wholesaling, the title company is going to be a major component to how you facilitate getting your deals closed. What happens is you get a contract signed with the seller, you get a contract signed with a buyer, you send them into the title company, and they do all the legal legwork as to getting the deal closed. So when you're looking for one, you need to be very specific in who you choose. I mean, you can choose the wrong one and they can literally make your life a living hell. They can make a headache, and some of them will not even be able to get the deal done. So you need to be very specific when you talk to them. You need to pay attention to what you're asking them, and you need to be asking the correct questions when you actually call the title company.
With virtual wholesaling, Adam and I have actually seen this a lot. With choosing a title company, we've been a little too eager and we've just, used title companies that we didn't necessarily vet, and we really regretted it. So we want to do this video to make sure that we can show you guys what to do so you don't have a situation where you're regretting using a title company and losing out on a potential deal.
So when you're looking for a title company, you need to be looking for the investor-friendly title companies. Not all title companies are created equal. Some of them have zero clue what investors do, how we operate. So you need to be very particular in how you look for them. You need to do your due diligence prior to going with a title company to make sure that the way they operate is going to fit in with the way that you operate your own business. Picking the wrong one can be super stressful, create a ton of headaches that you do not need. This business does not have to be stressful if you do it the correct way. It's pretty much stress-free and headache-free. So you need to be super vigilant and do a lot of homework prior to going with a title company. I mean, the object of doing this life is to live a life that's stress-free. I mean, nobody wants to deal with stress.
When choosing a title company, you're not looking for a one and done. You're actually looking to build a relationship with them so you can send them multiple contracts a month and have them know how you handle your business and how you run your business so they can actually build a relationship with you and get things done on your side. We actually consider our title companies part of our team.
You really need to make sure that they know what they're doing when you call them. You don't just need to take a yes. I mean, they are in charge of how you get paid, so you need to do the proper due diligence on the front end to make sure that everything runs smoothly. A title company can really throw a wrench in a deal by saying the wrong things to the seller or saying the wrong things to the buyer. So when you're calling, you need to ask some specific questions to make sure that they know what they're doing. Top 4 questions that we ask are:
first question we typically ask a title company is, we'll call them and just say, hey, do you work with other investors? Are you investor friendly? And what you really want to hear them say is, yes, we work with a lot of investors.
When they say yes, you want to hear them say it with confidence. You want to make sure they say it right out of the gate. You don't want them, if they start hemming and hawing and have no clue, like, well, what do you mean by that? Obviously, they really, I can tell you from experience, they do not work with investors. The title companies out there that do work with investors, when you ask, when you call and you say, hey, do you guys work with investors? Are you investor friendly? They will immediately, right out of the gate, with confidence, say, yes, we do it all the time. We're super familiar with investors. We have a ton of investors that do deals with us. So that is a good sign when you call and they answer with confidence that they know exactly what they're doing.
Next question would be to ask if they do assignments of contract. And typically that's how you're gonna close your deals, is doing an assignment or a double close. The title company actually understands what an assignment of contract is. You're gonna know right away. They're gonna go in and say with confidence, oh yes, we do those all the time, no problem.
Yeah, the only acceptable answer, obviously, in this case is a yes, and they need to be saying it like Shannon said. They need to be saying with confidence, we're totally comfortable with doing assignments. We do them all the time. We understand the process. We understand the workflow of how you guys work. Anything other than a yes here, just go ahead and hang up the phone. Do not waste any more time on the call. I mean, just move on to the next one. You do not need to be in the position of coaching up a title company on how to get a deal done. I can promise you from a ton of experience that never works out. You may be able to get the deal done at some point, but it's going to just be more headache than continuing on to the next title company.
At that point, it would just be a one and done deal. What you're looking to build, again, is a relationship with the title company. You want them to be a part of your team.
Yeah, so the next question after you ask them if they do assignments is, do you also do double closings or do you do simultaneous closings? In our particular business, this is not something that we do every day, but I will tell you from experience that it does come up, and you just want to make sure that it is available to you when the time comes and you do need it.
You want to make sure that they're actually going to take the buyer's funds and spread those out over the entire transaction, that they're not expecting you to close with your own money and then the buyer come in with theirs. That's very important because some people may say yes to double close, but they need to know exactly what you're doing. So you need to ask and be very specific. If I double close, can the buyer's funds cover the entire transaction?
Virtual wholesaling, we have actually had this particular situation come up quite often. The title company did not know what they were doing, and unfortunately we ended up having to go with them because time was of the essence and we had to walk them through how to get the deal done. I can tell you, it was like pulling teeth. It wasn't enjoyable. It was stressful. Looking back on that particular deal, it probably would have been easier for us to just continue on the path and look for a title company that does work with investors. But when you're working virtually and you do not have connections on the ground and you do not have a physical relationship with the actual title company, sometimes you do have to do what you have to do in order to get a deal closed. You can't take no for an answer, and although it was painful and excruciating, we did get the deal closed, and sometimes you just do have to do what it takes to get a deal done.
I do think if you've never wholesaled before or you've never wholesaled virtually, it's very important to vet. Take the time. Take a week. If it takes a week to find the right title company, just take the time and vet. Take the time to get it done because it'll save you so much headache on the back end. And like Adam said, we have had situations, we've been in the new cities and we've just been so eager and we didn't take the time to vet quite quick enough, and we had deals ready for closing and we had to do what we had to do. So from our mistakes and our experiences, I highly suggest just taking the time on the front end to find the right title company and the right fit for you. It's going to save you a lot of headache on the back end.
The reason that we went with them is it became apparent to us that it was going to be hard to find a title company in a timely manner in order to get the deal done. Some title companies, they're not taking new clients. They've been burned by a bunch of investors or new wholesalers. They've been burned. So they get over working with investors, and one bad apple ruins the whole bunch, which is what we ended up running into in that particular situation. I think Shannon went through like 4 or 5 that said, we're no longer taking on new clients, or we have been burned by so many wholesalers that we no longer do assignments, we no longer do double closing. So at that point, like I said, it probably would have been much easier for us to just continue calling and find somebody that actually will work with us and knows the process. But
what I actually did do in this situation, I was having such a hard time finding the right title company. I knew which one I wanted to use because I had talked to other investors in the area, but they were not taking on more investor clients. So at that point, I reached out to the title company we're using in Jacksonville, and I told them I'm having a really hard time finding a title company for this particular city. And my title attorney actually went above and beyond, and he has made some calls. They're all connected with the underwriters. And so he reached out and made some calls, and he found us a title company. So that's another great way to do it if you're having issues finding a particular investor-friendly title company in a particular area.
Yeah, so Josh Bernard, Larry Bernard, if you guys are watching this, you guys rule. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We also want to give a shout out to Amanda Rouse. She is our closing coordinator at Larry Bernard's office, and they always take care of us. They've been very good to us. We've been with them for about 6 years now.
If you guys are lucky enough to be watching in Jacksonville and you do not have a title company, I'm not sure that, like I said before, I am actually not sure that they're taking on new clients, but it never hurts to ask. So just pick up the phone and call them and see if they are taking on new clients.
So another very good question to ask is, what is your typical turnaround time to get a title commitment back? If you hear like 2 weeks, that's a really long time. So you're actually wanting to look for someone who can do it within 5 business days. And sometimes they can't even do it sooner and put a rush on it.
Yeah, typically we like it to be done in 2 to 4 business days. As wholesalers, part of our pitch to the seller is we can close a deal in sometimes as little as 7 days. So you need to make sure that the title company that you're working with will be able to get the title commitment back to you in a timely manner.
Also there could be issues with title, and you're not going to know that until you get the commitment back. So it's really important to get it back in a timely manner so you can figure out what hurdles you may need to jump through to get the deal closed.
Side note, real quick. So if you guys are new, one of the worst things that you can do is go get a bunch of things signed up and send them over to the title company and not close on the deal. So like I was saying before, how we wait for the deal, or if we have a deal that's suspect or we're not sure it's going to move, like I was saying, you need to wait before you send it over and maybe get some bites on it and make sure there is going to be some interest. I think that's one of the quickest ways to burn a bridge, because you are actually putting the title company to work. So, some of them will charge you to run the paperwork, and most of them will definitely charge you if you send 4 or 5 contracts over and do not close on them, and they've got a bunch of man hours put into doing the work on it. So I think once you build a relationship, they may be a little more lenient once you've created that relationship and closed like 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 deals with them. You know, maybe they're a little more lenient, but even then, I really suggest, you know, do not overload the title company with work that is not going to get them paid. I mean, they're human just like you are, and they have man hours, you know, that they could be doing something else, so why waste their time? So I really think you need to be particular. Obviously, if it's a smoking deal, go ahead and send it right out of the gate, but if it's a deal that you're kind of iffy on, I highly suggest, you know, in order to keep the title people happy, just wait a minute and see if you're gonna get some bites on it. That is why one of the questions we ask is how quick can you get it turned around, because sometimes, you know, it takes a week or 2 before we get somebody interested, so at that point we have a tiny window in order to get the deal closed. So that is why that question is super important.
Now, it's not typical that Adam and I run our business that way. It's not typical because, you know, we've been doing it for a long time. We know what's going to sell when it comes in. We know exactly what we have. We know the buyers we have. But when you're new and you're just starting out, it is very imperative that you don't sign 10 deals up, send them to the title company and not close one. It's going to burn bridges fast, and that is exactly why when you call some title companies, they're not taking on investor clients. That's exactly why they're not doing that.
Yeah, because they've been burned by so many amateur wholesalers that just flood them with paperwork, and it's just a complete mess. When you call these guys and you decide, hey, this is the title company that I'm going to use, you need to be treating people with respect. I mean, I've seen a lot of posts and I've heard horror stories online of wholesalers calling and being complete jerks to the title company, and just nobody's going to appreciate that. Nobody wants to work with a jerk. And when you treat the title companies correctly, a lot of times they can give you advice that would take you years to accumulate on your own. You know, we call our title company all the time with questions that would normally probably cost us money to get from a normal lawyer or normal closing attorney, and they are freely giving us info because we treat them correctly. We treat them as human. We treat them nicely.
They're part of our team.
Yeah, like I really respect all the guys, you know, and we respect anybody in business. Everybody is just trying to make a living. They're just trying to do their job, you know. So nobody wants to work with a jerk, man. Do not call and be a jerk.
If you build the right relationships, you won't have to demand anything. They will work with you and they will do a good job because they like you and they like your company, and you're bringing them deals, you're closing deals, everyone's making money in the transaction, and everyone's happy.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, sometimes if you treat the relationship and you nurture the relationship and you do it correctly, you can ask them, like, do you guys have any cash buyers? Can you connect me with the cash buyers? Or they'll
help you find title companies in other cities.
Yeah, like exactly. I mean, they can just provide you with it. They're an invaluable resource to your company, so you really need to treat that with respect. Once you find a good title company, most of the good title companies will handle everything on their end for you as far as getting everything that they need from the buyer, everything that they need from the seller. But I will tell you, I think it goes a long way if you call and get regular updates. Number one, you just need to get updates for your own file and make sure that everything is progressing. But you also should call and ask, like, look, is the buyer and the seller communicating with you? Are they getting you everything that you need? A lot of times we will call, and sometimes the title company will say, like, there's a lack of communication, or they're not providing us the necessary info. And in that particular situation, we will actually step in and get in touch with who we need to get in touch with. So, you know,
it's very important, going back to the team aspect. They're part of your team. You can't expect them to do everything for you. These are your files, these are your deals. So you also need to be involved, and you need to be checking on them and making sure that everyone's communicating and things, the title company's getting what they need in order to get the deal to the closing table.
Yeah, you definitely need to keep an open line of communication.
I hope this video shed some light on how to find the right title company for you, and I hope it helps you not make some of the mistakes that Adam and I have already made. That's why we're putting out this content. We want to put out content that will actually help you in the mistakes that we've already done in our business and keep you from having to do those in your journey.
There's definitely been a lot of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, if this video brought you value, please give us a like, hit the subscribe button, and we will catch you guys next week. See ya.
Bye.